Welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, we're Brittany and Drew, two hopeful adventurers who got married, moved into a van, and have been chasing adventures all around the globe ever since, and are now about to embark on the journey of owning property and moving to Portugal. If you guys didn't figure it out from some of our little teaser scenes in our last episode, we are in Puerto Rico. It's a new country. Nope.
No, part of the U.S.
Puerto Rico, or Puerto Rico, actually became a U.S. territory in 1898. It's so beautiful here. It's been really lovely for us to reset, regather our minds, and be in our own space after 3 months of being in post-hurricane Florida and being with our families, which was really nice, but at the same time, like, it's
a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Do you guys hear the roosters? The birds?
It's amazing.
The frogs?
Unless you have an iguana falling on your tin roof. It sounded like a body.
We just heard a massive thud while we were sitting down here, and there's an iguana on our roof. Whoa. He's showing his stuff off.
Wow.
Look at him climb.
Jeez. Oh, I think he's gonna jump.
He's looking.
Oh,
Look at him.
wow.
Wow.
Whoa, he's like wiggling his face.
Showing off. He's the boss.
Relocating to give you guys a jungle background. And soon we'll be relocating down to the beach to take you guys for one of our morning swims, which is what we've been doing every single morning here. And in today's episode, we're going to be answering some of your burning questions, thinking about what we have to look forward to in this next year, Portugal being one of them, and owning our first property ever. We'll actually be signing the papers here in Puerto Rico.
Let's just say,
remotely.
Let's just say, related to that, there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes that we're working on every week and advancing that dream and goal of ours.
Yes, and one of you asked, when do you think you will head back to Portugal? Should we tell them?
We have flights booked.
For next month.
February.
It's happening.
We are going to have a 4-month visa, and during that duration, we have an appointment set up with Seth. We'll go meet with immigrations and then get a 2-year visa that puts us on the D7 program.
Also, while we're here in Puerto Rico, we will be signing remotely our property. Our first property ever.
We're gonna actually finish the payment so that we can own the deed and get moving on construction projects, aligning everything so that we can live there full time.
It's amazing. Another question that sort of relates to this is one asked by Mel Sparkles. What is your plan for the watermill? Will you have it set up to generate income? I think our just immediate plan is to make it habitable, have a home, someplace we can grow roots, build community, invite friends and family, and create a vibe for others to experience.
I think with one of the things that we've talked about in the past is that we have to get ourselves to a place where we feel settled, have a home base, and then we can work on projects from there. Yeah. You ask about a business. A lot of you may or may not know, YouTube has become a full business for us, and we're so grateful to be able to say that, and through that, making episodes about the transformation, the renovation, weekly, sharing these videos.
That is our plan, to share the renovation, the transformation of our little watermill ruin into a beautiful castle home. And I very much look forward to having an art studio. You know, my computer, the editing space has been a virtual art studio for me, but to actually have somewhere where I can go and use my hands and create things like jewelry or paintings and write books, like that's also a plan for future income. Like, you guys are so amazing and so gracious with what we create and put out into the world. We'd love to create more for you, tangible things. So that's the hope.
There's limitations over the years rolling and having the studio only in 84 square feet of van. I also, since finishing the van transformation and our conversion, have always wanted to have a workshop, a space to build something on Earth. And so we're finally going to be able to do that.
Earth.
Both of us are going to be able to just expand and flourish through this endeavor.
We'll feel like real Earthlings, not just VanLifers. Are you still going to travel once your Portugal home is built? Of course, we still plan on traveling.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that excites us most about Portugal is that it is so close to so many incredible countries. We have Morocco at our fingertips, and we loved Morocco so much. If you're new here to our channel, Drew and I traveled Morocco in our camper van for 3 months back in 2018.
Yeah, the same year we found and discovered Portugal.
That's true. That was the first year we ever set foot in the country.
Can you believe that's 5 years ago? Wow. I actually put on my goals and wrote it down this year that I want to visit 2 new countries. That's big.
The birds are so exciting. But it's also easy to fly from many places in Portugal. If I can say so myself, I might have to say that I think that Europe is the best continent to travel in a camper van. I know that South America is also incredible and we have yet to do that, but there is something about European cultures and the languages that just does it for me.
Yeah. On top of that, something we always tell people getting into van life is go to places where it's a comfortable temperature. The European landscape is phenomenal. It's perfect between like 55 degrees and like 85 degrees most of the time, except for maybe the winter time.
It was a little hot this summer. The only thing that can make this better right now, a glass of ice water.
Obrigado.
But it doesn't mean you can't go north to Scandinavia or even to Denmark.
Yeah, and the heat waves are usually short-lived, thank goodness, and then you have a very cold sea to cool off in right there. Okay, our last question before the beach. When you start your conversion in Portugal, will you be doing it alone or will you be accepting help? Well, I think to start, we'll be doing it alone and with some professionals like our architect, and I think we're required to use an engineer.
Yeah. We're gonna have to hire some help in terms of some of the things that are regulated, like plumbing, electrical, some of the structural stuff. Beyond that, we're gonna try to do most of it ourselves.
We have friends and family who've been offering up their help, and so we'll definitely be taking them up on that. And I'm thinking that maybe you were asking that question, wondering if we were gonna be like, hey, community, you guys, come help. Well, in order for us to sort of protect our privacy and the location of our home, like, it's something to consider as YouTubers. You know, it's different.
Yeah. I also want to point out, we've kind of been down this path before when we went to Panama to help the nomadic movement. We went there early on when they were still trying to figure things out, which was probably a little too premature at that time to have other people helping them at that moment. So I think for us, it's something that we need to get on the land, which is something we're really excited about. Dig our fingers in, breathe in the air, and really come up with a better game plan.
Yeah, maybe in the future. We gotta figure out our own lives a little bit.
Well, power, septic, all the things.
There's also like rats in the roof. So we gotta like get rid of some unwanted guests first.
But there is a bat named Marty.
There is. I gotta get in the water though. I'm jonesing.
You got your bathing suit on?
Yeah, I've been ready. It's the first thing I did this morning.
To the beach.
A la playa. This is why you might have heard cars going by while we were talking. They were like right on the road. But you don't hear it when you're inside, for the most part.
Quiets down at night too.
Yeah, and you get all the jungle sounds to kind of, you know, drown out the noise.
Here we go.
These beautiful flowers.
So the next question is from Gabby and Geomat Granddaddy, and you guys asked, are Brittany and I ready to upgrade to a 500cc motorcycle? Both are great options. We've considered a larger 450 or 500cc motorcycle. It'd be great for long jaunts, but the truth is I like the lightweight maneuverability of the 250cc and its low-end torque throughout trails and off-road riding. So I think when we buy another bike in Portugal here in the future, it'll definitely be a 250.
You also asked what happened to Lucky Blue. And unfortunately, Lucky Blue was totaled in that rear ender accident. But luckily insurance gave us money so we can buy a Portuguese revival of Lucky Blue.
I don't see too many Yamahas over in Portugal, so I think we might end up with a Lucky Red.
Ooh.
But you guys have also asked us, what is the situation with Spirit? We did receive Spirit back. The doors look brand new, probably the cleanest they've ever looked, and it's been repaired.
Yeah, we'll be living in it for a couple weeks before we catch those flights to Portugal. And speaking of Spirit, there was another question about her. Brittany from the past jumping in right here to answer a question that many of you have asked, and that is, are we going to sell Spirit now that we're moving to Portugal? Well, the answer is Not yet, at least, because we love knowing that we have a space of our own when we come back to the States to visit friends and family, and who knows, maybe we'll want to return to Baja for another winter. With that being said, something that's really important to us is having peace of mind knowing that our rolling home back here is safe even though we are going to be far away. And thanks to Panasonic's Home Hawk window monitoring camera, we can keep an eye on Spirit's surrounding and security no matter where we are. Basically, all you need is Wi-Fi and power. You literally just stick the camera onto the window. The quality of this camera is incredible. And what we love is that because it is installed on the inside of the home, it is protected from the weather and the elements, as well as from somebody trying to tamper with it. And all you need is the app on your phone and you can see it any time of day. Also, the motion detector detects people, which prevents us from receiving any unnecessary motion alerts to our phone via the app. The best part is that there are no contracts, no storage fees. HomeHawk simply stores the 1080p high-def footage to a little micro SD card. So if you're like us and you want to have peace of mind over the security of your rolling home, whether it's in a driveway, a storage unit, on the side of the road, then use our link below to learn more and purchase Panasonic's Home Hawk window monitoring camera. We certainly are glad that we have this. Now, back to the future and on to the next question. Kelly Benhart asks, I saw you on an episode of Trent and Allie. How did you meet them? And when did you decide to become YouTubers? Well, we met Trent and Allie for the first time after returning to the States at the cusp of 2020 and basically when the world shut down.
Yeah, we did not want to end up stuck in Panama. We were visiting and helping the nomadic movement get started on their land because we were really interested in if Panama could be for us.
Yeah.
Long story short, we obviously decided it wasn't, and on a road trip in 2020, we ended up in Utah visiting a ton of national parks, and we connected with Trent and Allie.
And since then, every time that we have the chance, we meet up with them because they are just the sweetest. They're as sweet as they are on their channel, in their episodes.
Yeah.
And I mean,
and Leo, come on.
Oh yeah, of course, he's adorable. Yeah. But we knew them before Leo was even a thought.
Yeah.
We met them the same week that they got married, before they even told any, other than the people who were at their wedding.
Sure.
But
they've been a huge inspiration to us because of their house build and just their van lifers. We have a lot of common things, including being YouTubers. And to answer the second half of your question, we decided to become YouTubers and commit to posting weekly starting at the end of 2018. So that's right, for 4 years, we've posted weekly, except for the beginning of January this year.
Yeah.
And consistency is completely key to where we've come throughout all these years.
Before being consistent on YouTube, we were traveling Europe for 2.5 years in a camper van, and Drew and I both felt that something was missing. We felt disconnected from a sense of community, and since committing to the consistency, showing up for you guys each week, we feel fulfilled. Like, we love our job. It's a lot of work, and it's hard because our family thinks that we're going on vacation in Puerto Rico.
Not just our family. A lot of people wonder, you must just have a great time enjoying the beaches and just frolicking around and going on adventures. But there's a lot of behind the scenes work. Every episode we produce takes somewhere 30 to 40 hours of work just to edit, put together, get published on YouTube.
If not more. That brings me to another question asked by the Adventure Closet.
And we met up with you guys in a national park.
That's true. They ask, what do you tell yourselves when your goals seem so out of reach? Like, what keeps you trudging forward? I think what's important is to not let the fear of becoming and the work that comes with that to keep you from starting. And it's just one baby step every day. And then before you know it, it's like clockwork. And then you're expanding, you're working towards the next goal and the next goal.
Imagine doing the things your future self you hope to be doing, and you'll slowly develop those habits, and your goals and dreams will come true.
And by reading good books and listening to encouraging podcasts, it will help you get there. I actually just ordered a book so that I can have it with us when we go to Portugal, and it's called Atomic Habits. I also just listened to the author of that book on the School of Greatness podcast.
Yeah, we love Lewis. Lewis Howes runs that podcast.
And that brings me to another question. You guys just keep reminding me of these
rolling with the
awesome
questions today.
I know. Where did it go? Where is that question?
We got a lot of questions today.
Here it is. Cindy asks, how do you maintain your good attitude that you put out into the world? First of all, thank you. It means a lot that is what you get from us through the screen, and hopefully in real life when we get to meet some of you guys by chance or at our meetups.
Which we love when we meet people that watch our channel, sometimes spontaneously, that catch us by surprise when we're out and about. Or
like yesterday?
Yeah.
That was funny. But speaking for myself, I would have to say that I put in a lot of self-work. I do yoga just about every morning. I go on runs, listen to podcasts and books. I seek overcoming challenges, or I seek challenges that make me feel strong and competent, like swimming in cold water whenever I can. I was telling Drew, that is a really fast way to feel competent and almost capable of anything, you know? If you can get yourself to get into that cold water and you breathe and you feel, and then you get out into the world and you're like, whoa, you know, surging with energy, it's important to seek discomfort and do those things that, you know,
make you stronger.
Yeah. Also, my mom and I like to joke that my blood type is B positive, so it just comes naturally.
Am I D positive?
You're my vitamin D.
Every day.
And I'm your vitamin D.
So we stay healthy and we stay positive.
Do you have anything to add?
My trick is to eat good food and always make sure that you feel like you're full of energy for the next adventure ahead.
It's true.
Let's go get some food.
Yes. Good food for the bod. Free taco for Bobby and Kayla. What's crazy about this is Jack's shack is the son of the parents who started Yo Taco in Fort Myers Beach, which was unfortunately wiped out by the hurricane. But a few years ago, their son moved here to Puerto Rico to start this, and we had no idea. A serendipitous little occurrence. And we had to come here for breakfast. Ooh, and a little hammock hangout.
I didn't quite make it to the food stand.
Not yet.
I don't think it's ever too early to get fish tacos, right?
That's right.
Homemakes their specialty. Smell the mango.
We thought it would be quieter here than the taco stand, which you could hear the generator, but now we can hear reggaeton.
Challenges of a YouTuber. Your hair looks great, babe.
Our next question is from Kathy, and she asks, is the fact that we were only children going to impact how many children we want to have?
I'd say most definitely.
We would love to have 2 children, and whether we are able to have them naturally or adopting them.
But you have also found out really good news recently in the last month.
If some of you aren't aware of my past history with anorexia, I wasn't sure if that affected my body in a way that was going to prevent me from having children, because I also haven't had my period for 10 years or so. So I went to my doctor and had blood work done recently, and gratefully found out that everything looks healthy and normal and points to the fact that we should be able to have children naturally. And we would love to have a little clan of our own so that we can have the group dynamic and create the friendships and the learning experience amongst our little ones that maybe we didn't have. But we've both said that we don't want to get pregnant until we have a base camp, you know, just so we're not struggling.
I also didn't want to be changing diapers while moving and traveling in a van.
Right, and that was something somebody else asked. Do we think that having babies and or a dog or a cat would be possible with our current lifestyle? And I don't know if that's referring to van life in particular, but we wouldn't want to have a child, like a fresh baby, in a van. I think having like a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, it's more doable to travel with them in a camper.
I mean, we know a lot of families that do it.
Yeah.
So I guess moving on and segmenting to another question, what advice would we give people starting out in van life?
Ooh.
What would you say?
The first 3 months are going to be the hardest. That's when your routines start to break and you are starting to change in ways that maybe your old self is resistant to, but really just let yourself be open to a new way of living, you know, and expect that it's going to be difficult and be okay with that.
I think also leaving room in your schedule to not have it totally packed out. You want to leave room for spontaneity. For us, we've always known that, okay, we need to be somewhere in 6 weeks or catch a flight for my remote work. We always try to keep a forward trajectory as we're moving in the van, so we're not double driving miles back and forth.
Next up, rapid
fire. You got a question for me? I got a question for you while you're coming up with your question. So moving forward with the watermill and living in one place, which is pretty foreign to us, like we're having to exercise a new skill or idea to be in one place, which is huge for us because we've never really been in one place for that long.
I know.
What are you gonna miss most about van life during that period?
Being like, I'm feeling the need to roll, how about you? And then Drew being like, yeah, me too. All right, let's see what's next, you know? Like, I love that. But I'm looking forward to just having a place to be, having a launching pad, and the option to go and explore. And we'll have an adventure mobile versus our only home option being the camper, you know? It will be an option for stints, not what we have to live in all the time. Okay, Drew, can you tell us, how do you plan for trips? Like selecting destinations, flights, accommodations, itinerary planning? Go.
I wait till Brittany's asleep and I go on my computer and start researching the heck out of different things and looking at different flight options and how we can optimize our credit card mileage and points, how we can look at the best times and just
It's messy.
figure it out.
Can we just say that? There's no one easy way to do it. You just get in there and find your way through the question.
I do wish we had a travel agent that was full-time, maybe one day.
Maybe. How do you guys manage finances while traveling? Do you use credit cards, mostly cash?
I would say it depends on the country, because in some countries you need to always have cash available in your wallet, but predominantly credit cards without international charges. There's a whole kind of way of credit card hacking where you open and close cards. We've always paid our balances 100% on time and never carried debt, so we really pride ourselves on staying debt-free, and we're fortunate to be in that type of position. At times we've never had a lot of money in our bank accounts, but we've always managed to be frugal and get the most value for the dollars we do spend.
What is your favorite travel book?
You go.
Miles from Nowhere. It's not one that like helps you travel. It just tells the story of a couple's travel experience, and it is our favorite book.
I think for me, from a philosophical idea behind long-term travel is Vagabonding by Ralph Potts.
Yeah.
However, I just love having guidebooks and travel books. No matter where we go, I'm always buying one before the adventure because...
Usually Lonely Planet.
Yeah, and we never know when we're gonna have Wi-Fi or not have Wi-Fi, so it's a great resource to just have on the move.
Okay, your turn to ask me. That was a long rapid fire.
I'm gonna ask a couple
of... It was like a slow burn.
Yeah.
Go.
Hope you enjoyed that. I'm gonna ask a couple of YouTube questions.
Okay.
Do you think you will always include YouTube and having a camera as part of your life now that we've been doing it for several years?
I find making videos to be a huge motivator for us to continue exploring new corners of the planet. It's so fun to share with not only you guys, but like our grandparents and our parents, you know, they all watch. And it means a lot more to us knowing that we get to bring others along and that other people are learning and creatively. When we try to go and explore for a day without cameras, like we're jonesing, you know, we're like, oh shoot, we should have brought the GoPro, you know, get the turtles. Will we ever like retire from YouTube? I don't know, you know, maybe we'll be like 85 years old and be like, look at our watermill with our grandchildren now. And
will we even need to carry cameras then? Because maybe there'll be this like next dimension that you can
button.
We have treated a camera like our little baby over all the years.
Yes.
It's always in the backpack. We're taking good care of it. Our cameras last us a long time. Knock on wood, we're always trying to be careful with them.
Yeah, we love your camera.
We love what we're able to share with our community through this, and it allows people to understand us as human beings a bit more.
Yeah, it does.
Is there anybody in the YouTube space that you really look up to these days that is an inspiration?
Kara and Nate, they're going after the next thing and they're able to hire other people to edit and do other roles rather than us just doing everything. That's a goal, to be able to hire others.
Anybody not in our space, you think? Or that you tune into a lot to like learn from creativity? While you're thinking about that, I would say Casey Neistat from like a storyline type of aspect on the YouTube.
Yeah.
I'd also say from like a fun entertainment standpoint is the Sea Boys. They're these group of guys out in Minnesota, and they're always converting like snowmobiles and four-wheelers and dirt bikes into kind of weird, crazy machines, and they're always catching air in them. So that's a fantasy of mine because I love dirt bikes.
That's fun. I mean, I don't remember all their channel names, but there's a few female vloggers out there who do like cottage life stuff, and it's beautiful. And I love the scenes they capture, and I just dream of doing that one day on our property.
You're really into Emma Chamberlain lately.
Oh,
that's a
Emma
big
Chamberlain's
one.
hilarious. Yeah, and she's so authentic and real with the camera. I love it. She's a 20-something. I can learn from the youth.
We're always evolving.
Yeah.
You got questions for me?
Let's see what else we got. Ooh. Adventures.ps, who we met at our meetup.
Yeah, thank you for coming out to our meetup.
What advice would you give couples living full-time in a tiny space? How much of the year do you spend house sitting, Airbnbs versus van life? The house sitting Airbnb situation sort of all depends on what we're offered. We don't seek out the house sitting. It's usually something that you amazing people out there are like, hey, we have this. It's open, and somehow it tends to work out and fills the gap for sanity purposes.
It gives us a bit of a foundation to work from, kind of grounds us again, but then we always get itchy feet and we're ready to like, let's hop back in the van or let's fly somewhere or go. So
I think it would feel different if it was our own home versus, you know, living temporarily in somebody else's home. Maybe, you know, we would feel more compelled to stay.
I think a lot of that has to do with what we're looking forward to in having our own home, the projects that come from it, the canvas it creates so that we can expand and use our hands and build. That's something that really invigorates us.
It's like once we get caught up on our editing in the inbox and stuff like that, we're ready to sort of leave the house sitting situation or Airbnb. But what advice would we give to couples living in tiny spaces in order to not get bored of spending so much time with the individual that you love? I don't think I've honestly ever gotten bored of you. A lot of it is gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Just realizing how lucky you are to be the person who gets to love this person the most out of anybody else in the world. For the rest of forever. Like only one person gets to do that. Also finding the time to spend time apart. Lucky Blue was a great way to do that. Drew would go off on the motorcycle for an hour or so.
But I always liked when you were riding behind me.
I know we miss each other. We'll be apart for like an hour and it's like, oh.
We should just like sit on the couch like we're riding Lucky Blue.
You sit that way and I'll just hug you from behind and you can go ring. Those are a bunch of local protesters because one of the restaurants here was just found out to have been dumping its waste in the ocean below. So they're not too happy. And I understand why, for sure. Right. Woo! Whoa. It's raining.
Starting to pour.
Whoa. There it is. The conch house.
Isn't that cool? See the conchs on all the pillars.
And it's just the guy's hobby. It's so beautiful. Wow.
That is meticulous work and detail.
It's so well done. Amazing.
Even painted the telephone pole.
Look at the rainbow.
That's perfect right now. All the colors of the prisms. Do you see what I see?
Gas.
It's 89 cents a gallon?
That can't be right.
Just kidding. 89 cents a liter. So you got to multiply that by 3.78 to equal gallons. For some reason, they still use kilometers here in Puerto Rico, even though it's a US territory. Kind of interesting.
Well, while we're here, under cover from the rain, we should answer the last question. What is something that you dream of incorporating into your future home in Portugal?
Maybe a sauna? Or a hot tub? Jacuzzi?
Wrought iron gate that says adventure. Make a kiln.
A kiln?
Yes, I would love to make a kiln. You can do it. I've read about it. And I want to grow strawberries and have a little she shed, a yoga dome.
I look forward to having like power tools of my own. Even a welder that I can make that gate for you.
Oh, that'd be amazing. For us.
For us.
For us.
Well, we are so excited about the future and things ahead. We're excited to be here in Puerto Rico. We're excited to not be in the rain at the moment. And we're just happy to share all these insights and ideas and answers to your questions.
And we can't wait to share more of this beautiful island with you in the next episode. Yeah. So thanks for sticking around for the whole Q&A. Yeah. If you did, you're amazing. You know a lot about us now.
And come back next week because we're going to take you snorkeling and do some really cool things we got planned ahead.
Yep, we're going counterclockwise around the island.
Yeah.
There's a lot to look forward to.
Stay tuned, guys.
And why don't we let them enjoy a scene from last night's sunset paddle.
That was spectacular.
We even saw a whale, although we didn't capture it on film, but it was amazing.
But the clouds kind of look like a whale's tail, so we're lucky the waves aren't huge right now to do what we did. So you guys enjoy, and we'll see you next Sunday.
That's what
looks like a whale tail.
Wow, a heavenly
humpback
sky whale.
Your expert gondola driver out here this evening?
That's right. Private sunset tour to the domes.
Bring out to the Racon Lighthouse.
Perfectly timed for sunset. That's nice.